Hey guys, so in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the alignment options in Adobe Illustrator. So first, before that, we're going to go over to our ellipse tool, which is under all of the different shapes. And we're going to change our color. First of all, I always take off the stroke, we know that. And then the fill color, I'm going to double click that and I'm going to just make it like a light gray, or maybe even like a light blue. You'll see why in a minute. So we're gonna just start off by drawing 3 circles, and they're just gonna progressively get a little bit bigger as they go down. And as I'm doing this, you're probably starting to figure out what we're doing. We're making a snowman. We're building a snowman, guys. So you can kind of move these to kind of overlap a little bit to give more of that snowman effect, because obviously snowballs do not just float throughout the air. All right, so now is when we're going to get into the actual alignment. So Illustrator does have kind of like these alignment features where you'll see these little pink lines every once in a while. But sometimes it's not super accurate. And I'm obviously making mine a little bit inaccurate for the purposes of teaching you the alignment tool. So you can access the alignment options multiple ways. Like most features, it'll just kind of come up on your properties panel whenever you have any object selected. But if for some reason it's not coming up, you can also go to the window menu and then you can just click align, and you'll get this little align menu that pops up as well. So alignment options are really simple and straightforward. First of all, you have to select all of your objects that you want aligned. So to do this, you just go into your selection tool by clicking V, or just click that little black selection tool. And you just have to select all of the objects that you want to align. So what I do is I just click and drag to make like a big selection box, and it selects all of my circles for me. Now, just let's say you have a little object for whatever reason right there, and you don't want that to be part of your selection. All you have to do to get rid of something that's in your selection box, once you have it selected, is you hold down Shift on your keyboard, and then you just click it, and it deselects it for you. So as you can see on both of these menus, I'm going to get rid of this now because I don't need it, but on this menu here, there's 6 different alignment options. There is horizontal alignment, there's horizontal center, and then there's align left and align right. So this is kind of very similar, like if you ever made like a text box where you can like align the text left or align the text right. It's very similar to that. So obviously for this one, and it kind of gives you a visual that really helps kind of get you through this, but we're just going to do align center, and then it's going to make it perfectly centered. So these are great, but we want them to stay this way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do something called grouping. And the way that you group an object together, I really like key commands on Illustrator. I use them all the time. So what I would do is I would hit Command G on my keyboard, and what it would do is, even if I have these deselected, it makes it so that every time I click them, they're part of a group. If you are having trouble with your key commands, then another option, when you have everything selected, you go to the Object menu, and then you can just click Group. You can also do this to ungroup your objects as well. Great. So now what we're going to be doing is we're just going to add a couple more little things. So I'm going to go back to my ellipse tool, and let's make some, let's make some tiny little black eyes. So I'm just going to click the circle here, and we'll do an eye there. I have to change that to black. And what I'm going to do is, since I know that I want my eye to be the same color, I can either copy paste, right? And then do it that way. And you'll see that it kind of like aligns it for you. Like just like I was saying before, those little pink lines are really helpful. Sometimes they're not, but sometimes they are. So you can copy and paste. There's also a really cool feature where if you click something and you hold down Option and then you drag away from the object, it duplicates that object for you. So that's something to keep in mind as well. It's kind of like a quick command for copying something. All right, so these eyes are looking good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some buttons. And this is going to allow us to explore the distribute option that is on the alignment menu. So you'll see right here, it kind of tells you like, oh yeah, there's the perfect amount of space in between these. But for now, I'm just going to leave them far apart from each other so that we can explore these options. So right now, our snowballs are all grouped together. Actually, what I want to do really quickly is I want to select the eyes. I'm going to deselect that. And I'm just going to, actually, yeah, we can group these together. And then I'm going to select the snowballs, and we can center these. Perfect. And now I'm just going to group these together too. So now the snowball and the eyes are all one. Okay, and now we have to focus on these buttons. So I'm going to select all these buttons, and then I'm going to hold down Shift again to deselect my snowballs. And now what I want to do is I want to make sure that there's an equal amount of space between each button. And like we just saw, sometimes it'll just do it for you, but there's also a way to make sure. And that you can, I mean, there's different ways. There's distribute spacing, which makes it so that there's an equal amount of space in between each object, but there's also distribute objects. So for this, it wouldn't make a difference because each of these objects is the same size. So if you distribute the objects, it's not going to make a difference. You would do distribute spacing if one of the objects was bigger than the other. So I'm going to click Distribute Objects, and I'm going to do the vertical one because, as you can see, that's for when things are stacked, and then you would do the horizontal one for when they are kind of like sitting next to each other. So I'm going to click this one, and now there's a perfect amount of space in between all three of those. So I'm just going to group those together now, and that looks awesome. And that's kind of it for now. The last thing that I want to do is I want to align the buttons with the snowball. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select the snowball and the buttons, and since they're all in a group, I'm going to just center these. But something I do want to show you that we haven't went over yet is if you have a specific object that you want everything to be aligned to. For example, like if I want the snowballs to be aligned with the buttons, or I want the buttons to be aligned with the snowballs, and the snowballs I want to stay in one spot, what I have to do is all I do is just kind of click the object that I want to be like the key object, almost like the anchor object. And then when I hit the align button, it keeps that one in place and it moves the other one. So that, it turns into a key object, and you can tell that's a key object because it gets those thicker, more blue lines around that object, and that's how you know that's the key. All right, so that's really all there is to it. I'm going to go and take some more time to play with these new tools and build up my snowman even more, and then I'll get back to you after that. All right, so this is my little snowman. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. I obviously added a lot more stuff to this, changed around the colors, and used the align tool a lot more to kind of practice the distribution and all that stuff. So that's what you're going to be doing for this exercise, is just playing around with it, making sure that you're getting everything perfectly centered, practicing grouping objects, and making sure that you're getting these like nice, really clean designs when you're using Illustrator. All right, so good luck with that, and you can move on to the next video when you're ready to learn about the Pathfinder tool, which is my favorite.